show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Bass in your face. Bass in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negro. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it's called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic, so for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I also have another YouTube channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos residing in the United States. The link to this channel is in the description. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who've already joined the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined, I really appreciate your love and your continued support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter in these devices, and those who watch from the clouds, even they. So, if you have not done so, what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. And of course, being that this is Friday, um, we're going to have another episode of open discussion. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, what happens is I will share my views regarding multiple topics of which I'll express an opinion. Of course, you will have the opportunity to express your point of views in the chat. Also, if there's something that you want me to discuss, I will do my best to comply. Now, if it's something which I don't have a great deal of knowledge, I'll be transparent and state so. Okay. So, with that being said, let me just get into what's going to be next week's schedule. Next week's schedule is going to be a little bit different. So, I'm going to go live on Sunday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. Usually around 10:50 or 10:30. So, the next thing I want to talk about is, of course, everyone's talking about um, conservative uh, YouTuber Ali Cook was was um, on a live this week. And what's unfortunately what happened was he was shot in front of his wife and children. Now, let me just state that we have a guest. So, of course, uh, let me just state for the record that the views of those who appear on the panel are not necessarily those of the host of the channel. Any attempt to copy or interfere without the consent of the host is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you may be right to your the views of people. Yes, some viewers. If you do not like the content, you can block the channel. And now we're going to bring in our guest. Good evening, Jojo.
Good evening, Captain Jose, and it's an honor and a special privilege to be on your aircraft right now to have a great conversation about a bunch of stuff, including what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Well, first of all, let me just say on behalf of my co-pilot and the rest of the command crew, welcome aboard Flight Uncommon Sense, where this flight, all the passengers are treated not only to excellent um, service, but also experience uncommon sense.
Amen, and thank you for welcoming me on board, Jose. But wow, me and you were just thinking about the same thing, and I can't wait for us to dive into it.
Now, I'm gonna be transparent. I know very little about Charlie Kirk before he was made unalive. Okay, what little I do know about it is that, of course, uh, he was professing to be a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, and
Hmm.
also was a conservative YouTube creator. Other than that, I do not know much about it. I unfortunately did not never had the opportunity to speak, so I really don't have much of an opinion. Other than, of course, what happened to him was tragic, particularly the fact that he was made unalive in front of his family.
Hmm. And now he has a wife who is now widowed, and now two kids who will never have a chance to grow up with their father, which is
Yes.
honestly extremely tragic, very sad, and very devastating. His kids may not even remember him since they are only toddlers.
Um, hopefully, his widow will, as the children grow up, will share what type of person Charlie Cook was.
Exactly. Now, yes, Charlie Kirk, I will say, folks, since I'm a little more familiar with him, though, yes, he's the founder of Turning Point USA, and he was, yes, very known for going around to the college campuses to promote just American conservative values. That's really what he built his platform off of, though. And although I never like 100% agreed with him, I pay a lot more respect and pay more of my attention to the fact that he was still a man who was still a vessel for God. He was always spreading his evangelistic messages to the college campuses to reach souls, to reach a lot of people who were very lost, a lot of people who needed to experience God's redemptive love. And I give a lot of kudos to Charlie, who stood very firmly on those principles. And quite frankly, it's a special honor to consider him to be a good brother in Christ within the body of Christ. And may he rest in heaven, or better yet, rejoice in paradise.
Well, what's been troubling is that there have been several individuals on social media rejoicing in his demise. Okay, which is troubling, very troubling, and it just shows how how wicked and how um you know how sad that people will rejoice in someone being made unalive. Okay, fine, you can disagree with what someone preaches or talks about, but to actually celebrating his passing, uh, where is your compassion? Where is your love? Where is your sense of empathy regarding his widow and his children?
It much like how this reminds me of our old conversation in regard to self-proclaimed Christians who were gloating over the tragedy that happened in the Dominican Republic, where a lot of people died in that club. Remember that? Now you have
Yes, I do.
now Jose, you have self-proclaimed quote unquote Christians who are doing the very same thing over the deletion of Charlie Kirk. All I'm going to tell you guys is that if that is you, you are seriously walking on thin ice. You are in a very dangerous place if you can go to sleep at night gloating over that, because it also illustrates your lack of integrity, your lack of conviction, and then your complete disregard for the Lord's word. Because if you ever read that story of Edom in the Bible, specifically in the book of Obadiah, God punished Edom for the fact that the Edomites, were gloating over the fall of Jerusalem. And what happened? God wiped them out. You'll be wiped out too at a certain point. Or better yet, God will turn away the wrath, as talking about in book of Proverbs. You see how people get it twisted, Jose, and that they don't even know God themselves and they don't even know his word, although they write Christ as Lord all over their bios. It's pitiful.
Well, you know what's troubling is that we have, and of course, we don't know what's going on in the hearts of mind of other people who maintain that they're believers. But we have people who sing his praises, attend services, uh, pray before meals, and they do all the things on the outside that would lead one to believe that they've been not born again believers, but yet their hearts are very far from him.
Yep, and let me also just turn on my camera and actually say something too, since I actually know all this stuff by heart though. But do you know you just quoted from Matthew 15 to verse 8? You know that? And that's what Jesus was saying in that quote. People can look it up. Matthew 15 to verse 18, which states, which I do know off the top of my head without even looking at anything. Jesus said himself, "They honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me." So
Yeah.
that's what's going on here. And the people who are gloating over what happened fit the exact definition of Matthew 15 to verse 8, by the way. And
Now,
that's
doesn't
Jesus' own
yeah,
words.
yeah. Now, doesn't the Bible say that the sun comes out on both on the righteous and the unrighteous, and also the rain comes down on the righteous and the unrighteous?
Mm-hmm. That's right. It does say that, and how the unrighteous deeds and actions and hearts of many are going to eventually come to the light, because their hearts are in a very dark place. And just once it surfaces to the light, people are going to reveal themselves for who they are when it gets to that point. And we will be able to tell who they are based on the fruits that they produce. And this assassination, which is what it is, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I mean, not to say don't get me wrong, but I mean to say it's appropriate to say that word on YouTube, because that's what it was. But anyways, that's what that case was. And for those who are just gloating over that though and are cool with it, it's really time to cross-examine your own heart and show that you can do something about the lack of a moral compass that you have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't the Bible say that it talks? Actually, I believe our Lord said it that those who knew what the Master instructed them to do, and that they did otherwise, they will be beaten with many strikes, and that those who do not do what the Master wants to do, but out of ignorance, will receive strikes, but not as many. Is doesn't the Bible state that?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where it states that though, but I do know is that at the end of the day, all that stuff ties into obedience. So, and you can clearly see even all throughout the Old Testament and even the New Testament about the consequences of disobedience. I mean, yeah, you can do what you want to do, but expect to pay a nasty cost when it comes to you being disobedient.
Yes.
So yeah, I think
And you know what?
more importantly, it's just people's lack of obedience and them not even knowing God at all in His character, even though they like to claim they do.
Yeah. And some people just don't understand the holiness of God, the mercy of God, and you know, just as you know, as just as He is. And people will say, "Well, God is not being fair." I mean, if you gonna base your fairness on human standards, you're gonna be flawed. I mean, doesn't the Bible say that the wages of sin is death, and death is eternal separation from His presence?
Yep, exactly. Though it talks about that specifically in the book of Romans, though, whereas yeah, the wage of sin is death, but walking in obedience is what's going to also be the gift of eternal life for the.
Yes. Now, it also speaks a lot about that people cannot deal with what a content creator says go to the extremes to try to have someone delete it. Okay. I don't think we have ever gotten to the point when we receive death threats as yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks poorly that that we could be so triggered by what someone says that we cannot do the intelligent thing, which is basically do not consume their content, but to actually you know longing for their demise.
Exactly and then also on that related note, you won't believe what happened just about like I think about like 45 minutes ago. But so first off, you saw my video, right? Where I made a video like expressing my thoughts and prayers for the Kirk family, which garnered 12,000 views.
Wonderful.
Did you see that one, Jose?
I don't think I have. I'll definitely look at it this weekend. Definitely.
Yeah, it's on my short. It definitely got out there for sure. Dedicated to Charlie
Yeah.
Kirk. Over 12,000 views. So, guess what? What I found out. So, I got an alert on Facebook saying that. Now, I'm not going to say this guy's name, but let's just say he's another hater, okay, who doesn't even live in the USA. I'm just going to say that because we're not saying people's names here on this platform because they don't really deserve that kind of publicity anyway. But
Correct.
he knows who he is. So when Facebook told me and gave me an alert saying that somebody shared this post, and I went to go and see who it is out of curiosity, and let it behold, it definitely is somebody that me and you are familiar with. All I'm going to say is he doesn't even live in the
Oh,
country. Oh, hey Gigi, it's been quite a minute.
good
Hey Jose,
evening,
hey
Gigi. How you
Georgia.
doing tonight?
Good. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yes, we can.
Okay, okay. All right, go ahead, Georgia. I don't want to interrupt. I was just coming up. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was going to finish up with my point really quickly, Gigi. But what I was saying, Jose, is that this guy, I'm not going to say his name, but you're most likely familiar with him, and I know Gigi is too. He doesn't even live in the country at all, and so
Uh-huh.
he shared my Charlie Kirk video that I that I made, which got 12,000 views. And when he shared my video, he said, "quote unquote." This guy never stopped being a white supremacist. I'm like, what?
Wow.
I'm like, dude, you missed the entire message of it, though. I may not have always agreed with Charlie Kirk, but I know that man was still a vessel for God who was sharing God's redemptive love on all of those college campuses, though, and eventually introduce people to just the love of Christ, though, and just, you know, inspired people to pursue him and get to know him, though. That's all that I care a lot more about, though. And if people really want to get into the racial stuff, I mean, you guys can see that I've shifted my priorities heavily. My page and my platforms are all dedicated to my evangelism. But this dude had the audacity to do that, though. But I wrote back saying that I could care less about that, and you missed the point. But if people are all concerned about the racial stuff, I'm going to say something that is really probably going to ruffle their feathers. And that is, I do pray for the neo Nazi. I do pray for the Hebrew Israelite. And I also do pray for those La Raza types because they are all lost. They are all caught up in racial idolatry, which will take them to a very dark place and even a worse place if they die like that. So ultimately, if you are exhibiting the character of God, you're going to want everybody redeemed irrespective of their sin issue or what they currently have going on. Because if you are still breathing, then you can still be redeemed today.
But you know
So,
what's funny about that, you guys, is that the
what's up?
same people that like project this type of stuff on other people are the same people that have honestly done probably worse and said worse than Charlie Kirk ever said. And not only that, they probably agree with a lot of his talking points and have spewed those talking points themselves. I will say though, when I first saw that he passed, um, I was really shocked and appalled by all the people celebrating and stuff like that because I never really like watched him like that. But of course, he was very popular, so he would come down my timeline. I'd catch shorts and stuff here or there. So I just had the impression that he was just a Christian. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that there was all this other stuff going on. So today I actually watched a video and I saw some of the things that he said. And yeah, I definitely don't agree with, some of the things that he said. But the thing is that for whatever reason in our society, people equate like um saying something nasty or wrong or racist or homophobic or whatever it is, like that equals death. Like, in what world does that equal death? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand people they might cheer when a dictator is unalived or, a child, whatever, or, horrific people. But these are social media influencers. Even with Kevin Samuels, I never liked Kevin Samuels. Like, you know, I just didn't watch him. But like when he passed, they were celebrating and stuff. And I thought that was disgusting as well, you know?
Or the you know who though who celebrated the death of Jerry Springer? Remember that?
Oh,
Yeah,
they had tied that somehow back to me. I forgot
you
what it
remember
was.
that right there? What happened on Discord, right? Yeah, I
Because,
know.
they
But
used to
we're
call
not
my show
saying
the
we're not.
Byron Show, Jerry Springer Show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not saying names though. But these people know who they are though, and they know that yeah, they're guilty of kind of like gloating over the deaths of individuals, though, and clearly showing just their lack of a moral compass.
Yeah.
So, and then just
But
some
but you know some
talking mess,
yeah. But
just even recently too.
but
But what's up, Jose?
but you know something? It's a sad commentary when people cannot, if there's something that people, they don't like about what person's saying, okay? It's a sad commentary when you can't just, not consume their content and just go your separate way, but then you get to the point where you actually wish that someone be made out alive.
Yeah, because mental illness is just running rampant, in the world, really.
Well,
Precisely.
it goes back to what I say. Hurt people. I mean, how much more hurt can you be when you wish and celebrate the fact that someone is no longer physically walking on earth, and the fact that now his wife is a widow and his children will grow up without their father.
Yeah, there's like this channel, I forget the name, but it's two white ladies, blonde white ladies, and they're pretty much like liberal, I guess, feminists, you would say. And so they were making commentary on, how like Trump was sick or whatever. And they were all like laughing at it, and the audience was just saying like, "Oh, it'll be a great day when he goes," and they were just like basically, celebrating and hoping that he would go. And then so she made a video on the Charlie Kirk situation, and she's like, "I condemn this," and blah 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 blah. And there's just so much hypocrisy. I'm like, you guys were just wishing for Trump to die like a week and a half ago, and now you guys are acting like you guys are so above this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's
The
why I say about like
arrogance
those,
is
huh?
the arrogance is just very cringe. I know.
The thing on social media is that like a person can say something one day and say another thing another day, and so you really can't put too much stock into it. So that's why when you see people that are so invested that they're wishing death on people, and it's like these are just regular people that really don't hold any power. They can't, they don't make the laws, they don't run the government, they don't choose what programs are cut. Like, they're just influencers, they're just entertainment at the end of the day.
They are ordinary people like me and you and everybody else. It's just,
Hmm.
yeah, they have a lot of influences out there and they're just widely known. And they also have their own strengths and weaknesses. That's pretty much it. If we're going
Yeah.
to be humble about it.
I don't know. That's why I don't pedestalize
Well,
any influencer, because at the
yeah,
end of the day, we're all just regular people with a laptop or a phone.
yes.
Exactly.
I mean, for us, it's the labor of love. We don't think about this 24/7 because unlike some people, we actually have lives outside YouTube.
Hmm. Exactly.
Exactly though. I mean
So
like also like with like when it comes to Gigi, like you remember like when you were once wondering though, like when am I going to really go out there and like show folks like what I do out there on the streets and everything? Well, that's exactly what I have been doing now for quite some time. And it's definitely one of my priorities though, and just something that I'm very good at because there's a lot more to life than like a lot of the racial stuff that I know that a lot of us were really deep into.
Yeah,
yeah,
I locked out of my main TikTok account, so I got into one of my old accounts, and I came across that I was following you, or maybe you were following me and I followed you back. I'm not sure. So yeah, I've been seeing your work on TikTok, and I think it's awesome. I think you're doing great work.
Yeah, yeah,
I agree.
likewise. Because I definitely like much like you said, Jose. Though, like we all like have lives still, and I know that there's a lot more about us than our fleshly racial identity. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
it's fun to talk about it like occasionally though, but I do know that in your case, when you finally retire, you're going to want to probably go out there and evangelize or do things that are also within your niche and within your gift.
Well, yeah, because Jose has
Well,
Christian
I'm not.
topics, so he does it in his own way. You know.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the way I approach Christian talk is like this. Of course, I always put this disclaimer saying I'm not trying to force anyone to embrace Christianity or not even my interpretation of Christianity. It's just like this is the topic. I mean, at least be open-minded and and think about it. I'm not saying agree with me. I don't. I am not reporting myself to be an expert. I'm just giving you my point of view. That's all it is. I don't know if you're aware what happened with Grandma Love, but
No.
she there was a couple of times she tried to do some lives, and unfortunately there was some trolls that actually was putting porn videos
Oh,
onto
I
the
did hear
live.
about that.
Whoa.
Mhm. Yeah, I did see that. That's unfortunate. She's a really nice lady. I really like Grandma Love. And one of you
Yeah,
guys made the point. I'm not sure which one, but it was a good point that we all have lives and stuff. And so let's say I make a video that's 10, 12 minutes. I come over here, I go to a couple places, I give a little bit of commentary. Jose, you have your couple lives. George, or you have your shorts. People are only getting a glimpse of you, at what, an hour max of your life in a week. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, they, you don't know me, and I don't know you, and we all don't really know each other in that way. But people feel like they have people pigeonholed into certain characters or whatever, but you really only see what people want you to see on social media. You don't really know who anybody is. And that's why when people get unalived and stuff like that, it's like, 'cause you really don't know who people are. You know what I mean? I bet nobody thought that
yeah,
kid was like capable of doing something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, look, let's keep it
I
real.
think
Most
they
of these
said that he never
people that
talked
we,
about politics. Hmm?
yeah, but let's keep it real. Most of these people that we see on these YouTube streets, we're never gonna see them in real life for whatever reason. So,
God willing, yeah.
I mean, they're like, I mean, they always will paint their narratives about who we are and what have you, and of course it go to the point that the ones who's the most critical are the ones that don't know us at all.
Yeah, yeah, like the guy earlier though who shared my 12,000 viewed video too. I'm just like, he definitely is my biggest critic for somebody who doesn't even show himself. And he doesn't even live in America either. And no, he doesn't
Well,
live in Canada. I'm going to say that though, but let's just say he lives across the Atlantic Ocean. So I'm going to say.
well, remember there was one character that kept saying for a couple of weeks that he was going to report me to ICE.
I do remember that.
Folks, I don't make up these things. I just
Uh,
report,
I'm
like
gonna say
Gigi
his,
said.
so
I don't make.
I'm gonna say his name in the
Yeah.
private chat, and you guys
Okay.
know who he is, even you,
Well, I
Gigi.
think
Uh,
I already know. I think Jose knows too when
Yep,
right?
yep. I wrote it in the private chat.
yeah, I see it. I see it. Of course, it will be named. It will be anonymous. But I
I don't
mean,
know. I try to avoid even dealing with
I
those people
actually
or
forgot
talking about
all.
them either.
I forgot all about him though, and until I got an alert on Facebook saying that somebody shared it, and then when I looked to see who it was, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. I forgot all about him. I'm surprised he still follows me, like a monitoring spirit.
Monitoring spirit. That was
Yeah.
like a that was like a what's the word I'm looking for? I forget what they call it, but that was a word that was circulating like for a while. People were making videos on monitoring spirits or whatever.
Yeah. Basically, a lot of people who don't have the good intentions, so, and they're always viewing you, watching you, though, and they're just waiting for you to supposedly stumble so that they can get you in a gotcha moment. And so, since I made a video regarding my thoughts and prayers and condolence for the Kirk family, he thought that that was a time where I was slipping. So then he's trying to get me in a gotcha moment. He didn't get me in any moment.
Well, I did have this little tussle this week or whatever with this chick who came after me and attacked me or whatever. And I will say that none of the ops actually went over and engaged in the fuckery, which I was surprised about, except for one. And I was just like, geez, I was just like, you know, go away year after year after year. Like, holy shit. Isn't that
I
embarrassing to run
it.
everywhere behind me and start talking about me and saying you're so afraid of me? And it's just like, dude, I'm not talking about you. I'm not thinking about you. Just leave me alone.
I did not catch
Uh,
that because I'm just not really like looking at stuff like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if there was something going down. Because man, I've just been so busy out there in the streets to where I kind of forgot that stuff was even a thing.
I'm not stressed about it or
You
anything,
know,
but it's just wild.
Tell me about it.
well,
What's
you
up,
know,
Jose?
well, you know, some content creators have people that love to hate watch. So maybe
Yes,
this
basically that's
person
what the
posts.
monitoring spirit does. So they like to hate watch. So even if you've shifted your priorities and everything, they're still going to view you though, so that they can wait for you to stumble in their mind, so that they can get you in that gotcha moment.
Yeah,
So,
but
so the cur-
but I really do feel bad for Grandma Love because it was basically her. I think one of her first attempts to do a live, and to have someone to put pornographic material um onto the stream. I mean, first of all, it shows that the ones that did it don't have much of a moral compass, and the fact that that you are so mentally unwell or obsessed or what have you, that you would try to you know damage a person's reputation by posting adult material onto our lives.
Well, I mean, it's just par for the course. That's YouTube. That's one of the lessons that you got to learn when you're a content creator is that people do that. She'll be all right. She knows now not to just let people up she don't know. And if you do, make sure you put an overlay up there to make sure they're not a troll, you know?
exactly.
Well, what I would do, like when I enter a stream for the first time, I always cam up and then I speak because I want to make sure that the content creator understands that I'm not here to troll. I'm here to give my observations regarding the topic in hand.
There's people that just literally, they have nothing better to do. The thing is too with Grandma Love is they're attacking her because she's friends with Janet. And that's you guys know that's the other part of YouTube when you're
Yeah, I'm fully aware of it. In fact, a lot of the reason why I've gone through a lot of grief is regarding the people that I choose to hang with.
Same. I will be honest though, I'm not familiar with Grandma Love, or maybe I am, but her name is just not registering with me at all.
Well, in all fairness, I do not know a whole lot about her. I was on one live once, and earlier this week she did appear in the chat um, on one of my earlier lives.
Okay,
So,
Grandma Love. Okay,
I think my service went out.
if
you
you
know
were
what?
speaking Gigi, then it probably did because I wasn't hearing you at all.
Oh, I was just saying that I met Grandma Love through Empress Janet. And so Empress Janet came our way and I shared her out here. And then some of the people around here started going over there, like Irby and them. And then we all just intermingled. So, yeah, she's from Janet's camp, Empress Janet's camp.
Okay,
Oh,
fair enough.
Georgior.
What's up?
I just saw back there. We're talking about. I didn't know that's who you were talking about. I thought you were talking about the other guy. Okay, so I was wrong.
Well, yeah. The guy I'm talking about now doesn't even live in this continent.
Yeah, he's in the UK.
Yeah. That was a little bit of a giveaway, but now that you said it, yes, this guy
Well, it
is.
wasn't a giveaway to too many people. Just only people that have been
Well,
here
at least,
forever.
well, I think that Britain has like 86 million people though. So as long as we don't
Yeah.
say the name though, then that could be any of those 86 million people.
I'm
But
still I'm
yes, that's him.
subscribed to his
That's him
channel.
who that YouTube gave me the alert about him sharing my Charlie Kirk video. And then him just talking his mess though. But that's what he's always done for years now, because he knows that he can use his anonymous status to just be like the loudest in the room.
No, he definitely is a monitoring spirit, because one day I was doing a live and somebody came in with that same name, and I was just like, "Hey, so and so," or whatever, and then he dropped down out of the cloud and he's like, that's not me," and I'm like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "I don't know, that's not you," and I was like, "And I didn't say it was you. There's you're not the only person in the world that has that name," but he just literally dropped down out of the clouds, so he definitely he does hang out in the clouds, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm just like, I forgot all about him.
But he
I was
came down,
like,
he dropped down, and he was so nasty to me. I'm like, I didn't know, like, and even if I did, like, well, like, what the hell? I didn't even say that was you, but he just dropped down all nasty. I'm just like, I don't know. Some of these people just be mad for no reason. Half of the shit that happened in the past, I don't even really remember anymore, because it was so much stuff all the time. Who can even remember who we've offended, at some
yeah, and
point or whatever?
I forgot all about him though, because like I'm prioritize, reaching people out there on these gritty streets in real time. I've built
Mhm.
solid relationships with this folks, and I've helped folks out with shelter too, and spreading God's redemptive love regardless of where they're at though. I've been thinking a lot more and praying a lot more than that. I'm not worried about a British troll who never shares himself or never
I want
shows
to
himself.
ask you something, because I was just, oh, I got to tell Jose too. I just had came from Ginger's and she told me to tell you, hey, and if you're
What's up?
still up later, and to come by and say hi. But she was, talking about a little bit about, how Creole Chief had made a video apologizing, and she had said too, and George, she said that Creole Chief and you had like made some commentary about her, and I was like, Georgia, and I was like, why? I was like, I must have missed that.
So did I.
Um, if you go onto my page,
Hmm.
yes, but
What
it wasn't
happened?
any disrespect though. It was, if you go onto like my page, you type it, you go to the video section. I made a video basically like 3 months ago saying with the hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Kind of nose full of snot, but anyways. So if you go onto my page and you see my videos titled Pointless Racial Discussion, I tagged her name in it and I made my commentary about that. And I meant no disrespect by that video. What my point in that video was that I essentially could care less about your fleshly racial identity. I don't care anymore. It's not really a thing to me. It's not important to me anymore. It may be to her or to others, but my priorities shifted, because at the end of the day, my Louisiana Creole identity is going to become maggot food when it's my time to go. That's a fact. I love it. I embrace it, but it's not coming with me. All that's coming with me is what I filled my heart with. That was my point of that video. I
Oh,
meant
well,
Yeah,
she's
respect.
not like a problem. She's not like a problematic person on here, though.
I know, no. She's not at all.
hmm
She's not.
Hmm.
I do actually respect her, but
Yeah.
I think she is talking about that video I made 3 months ago, and it's still up.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
just a
she did.
video.
She said all was water under the bridge with everybody, but she was just like talking about it or whatever, commentary or whatever. But I was just like surprised. I was like, Georgia made a video directed at you. I'm like, I must have missed that.
I did, but it was in a respectful way. It wasn't in a way of where I'm trying to beef with anybody.
Yeah.
Because if anybody on here, by the way, has any beef with me, then it's a one-sided beef. Or if people like to say, "Oh, the ops," or whatever, well, that's a one-sided rivalry that you have going on there.
Yeah.
But interesting. I didn't catch that video where I guess she mentioned me
Oh, it
recently,
was
though.
just right now. I just left from over there. I don't know. I'm gonna swing my channel too. What I'm probably gonna do, honestly, to keep it real with you guys, is I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing now to get my 1K and get back monetized. But I'm probably gonna shift my focus too, because you guys, it really is emotionally, not emotionally, but mentally draining around these parts. And it's just like, and there's like more bad people than good, you know?
But you live in a very
Yeah,
broken, fallen world, though, where people don't really want to receive the Holy Spirit. So it's just to be expected. But that's where we have to shine the light.
Yeah, but I don't even like really
yeah,
preach on my channel. The only thing that I do, I guess, is, I do share on my community wall Christian content and stuff like that. But like, it's not even like that type of situation for me. But I guess just in general with the topics or whatever, I don't know. I'm just probably going to switch, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to wait till I get monetized and all that. And then I'll switch. I don't care if they call me a grifter or not. I've put in my work around here for years.
Yeah. And speaking about, I guess, getting back to 1K,
well,
by the way, like Charlie Kirk video boosted me up to 717 followers now.
Oh, you're almost there. Jose, too. Aren't you at 700 something,
wow,
Jose?
well, yeah, I'm at
Yeah.
700 now.
I mean, yeah, like Jose, like when you see my video, which is only a minute, because of my videos, I just get straight to the point. My recent short, it garnered 12,000 views.
But how is it looking for your watch time
Yeah,
hours? Because I know that you do a lot of shorts, and so because you got to have the 4,000 watch time hours to be monetized as well.
True, but in all honesty, Gigi, I don't really care whether I become monetized like or not though,
Hmm.
because like the gift of salvation is free and his word's going to be free, and I'm just the messenger who is just trying to push out his word, and whether it makes me money or not, cool, but I'm totally fine if it never does.
Yeah, I know, but the God also says that He'll fulfill your need. Like He's still like if you're doing like things in the right way, He's still going to provide for you. That is my point. Like, not saying that you're not provided for, but I'm just saying that like it will, if you continue on and on and on and on, it will obviously lead to money. You know what I mean? Even if
Yeah,
you turn around and invest it right back in your ministry, either way.
yeah, all ties into seek first the kingdom and all of his righteousness, and all will be added. Matthew 6:33. You just quoted that.
hmm
Good job.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, look, realistically speaking, even when we do get monetized, okay, uh, unless we have like hundreds of thousands of followers and we get like a substantial amount of money with super chats and things like that, we're not gonna become rich, okay, and get
Hey, hey,
the
hey,
huge
hey, Jose, there's power in the tongue. I rebuke that. Mm-mm-mm-mm. There's plenty of people that get rich off of social media, okay? And I plan to be one of them eventually.
well,
And I agree, though. I mean, like Jose, in all fairness, though, you never really know what the Lord could actually have in stock for you, though, or what your accomplishment can lead you to. So you never know
that's
because,
true. Now,
and I
yeah,
was not
that's
even
true. Now,
expecting it's like the
I've
Charlie Kirk.
literally seen people go from the projects to huge not mansions, but I've seen people go from the projects to, yes, living a uh, very comfortable lifestyle thanks to social media.
Oh yeah, going from the Section 8
well,
public housing to living large now in the suburbs.
Hmm.
yeah,
There's people
well,
out there.
today,
Oh no,
mhm,
sorry, Jose. Go on.
well,
The
well,
last thing I said is that there are
well,
people out here.
yeah, well,
Go on.
today I had a weird day. I had a weird day at work because to various points of the day we didn't have the water on our floor at work. So of course we have to go through the process of letting managers know, and then letting our union know, so health and safety can get involved and do whatever it is they need to do. So uh, it's just weird. Like, I mean, I was literally on my way to the restroom to do my business, so to speak. where the manager of the building said to me, "Oh, you cannot use the bathroom because the bathroom's out of order." So it's like, okay. So I go to the other bathroom, and guess what? That bathroom is not working either. It's like, oh,
Oh,
wonderful. We cannot go.
what do they
So we
expect?
cannot go to relieve ourselves.
What do they want us to do?
Well,
What our pants?
as a man, you at least you can go in a bottle or something. If worst case scenario, right?
Oh, okay. That.
Yeah,
Oh. Um. Okay. Okay. This
You know what I'm
conversation is
saying,
already.
right? That's
I
just,
yeah,
get it. You have a good
yeah.
point
Let's
though. But the conversation is now getting a little awkward. It's getting awkward. This is awkward.
but no,
But yeah,
Jose. Let's
you
say
have
like
you
right
still have a
now,
so
good point
Jose,
despite
you'll
the
be
conversation.
monetized probably by the end of the year, or maybe the latest April or something, right? So you never know. And then after a couple of years, once you retire, and then you're home, and you have a lot more time on your hands, there's no telling where your channel could go. You know what I'm saying? So don't speak
that's
that
true.
unto yourself that it's not going to
Exactly.
go anywhere.
There is power
Well,
in the tongue.
well, well. It's a funny thing because actually, there was this person who was an assistant deputy commissioner actually called me into her office. It's like, um, would it be possible if you can reach out to the other union reps, and see if see if they're having any problem with lack of water on their floors? And I said, well, I would love to, except it's getting close to the time for me to leave, and of course I'm waiting for my shared transportation to pick me up and take me home.
Mm.
So it's kind of weird. Um, I just, took it in stride. And another day of the job, one day closer, for me to retire,
Jose, you don't
and
take
just
the
go
train at
on.
all anymore, do you?
Sometimes I do.
I'm
Sometimes I
worried
don't.
about you on that train. That thing, it's getting worse and worse every day.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
believe
attacks
me.
and
I
stuff,
mean,
assaults and batteries happening on the New York subway trains. Yeah, I heard about that.
That little young girl just got stabbed for no reason, just sitting there minding her business.
That was North
Oh,
Carolina.
here's Ruby.
Hey, Irby,
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
the most fatal.
hey, Irby.
Well, it's good to see you, Irby.
You're all
So
good.
when
When,
Hey, we got to
Jose?
give a shout out to
so
Irby Jose. He finally made his channel doing his big
when
one.
you gonna do a live? So when you gonna do a live? Where it's not like 3 o'clock in the morning when
I know, I always miss them too. Irby got to get that StreamYard set up or whatever because he got he got a bunch of people coming over there. I even see Misunderstood came over there and showed him some love. You never know who you can get to hit your link.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Janet got to help me with the StreamYard, so she told me to hit her up.
All you got to do is just open an account.
okay,
Yeah,
so
she was.
Wait, no, you already
I,
got
I
the
was.
account. You have
I
to go
was.
to the studio.
Yeah, I was trying to do the free. I was trying to do the free one, but yeah, I wasn't. The free one is not
All you have to do
available.
is go to YouTube Studio, but you can't go through like the app Studio. You have to go through a desktop. And if you don't have a desktop, then you got to type it in Google. You got to put YouTube Studio Desktop and go in through the Google, like through the Chrome. And then you
Yeah.
go to live, like you want to go live, and you'll see the little box right there, and it'll ask you to connect your channel and all of that. And then you got to wait 48 hours, and then it'll be there.
Oh, all right. Yeah, all right. I think that one. Yeah.
That's it.
okay. Of course, Irby will help if we're not using your Obama form.
No. No. I tried to do a live early, but try to do a live on the earlier.
Yeah. I guess you're doing it just so the
I usually
trolls
go,
don't
usually
wake
I
up.
go, usually you see me do the live streams around 2 or 3. It's just that when I get bored and I don't want to be in nobody's chat anymore, and I just say, you know what, let me see who's out there.
So, Irby, what do you think about
Yeah,
the
Irby got his own
situation with
channel. We don't barely see
Charlie?
him no more.
Yeah. So, Irby, what do you think about the situation regarding Charlie Kirk being unalive in front of his family?
This shit's terrible. Like I was telling everybody. I mean, like, he, look, I didn't agree with him. I think he was he had a slick mouth. He was a shitty person in my, but he has every right to talk shit. Like everybody here on YouTube talks shit, but everybody here on YouTube talks shit. He don't deserve to what happened to him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially in front of his kids. I'm
It's
like,
a
Yeah, and now,
yeah.
like, look,
I mean,
his wife Erica is now widowed, and his kids are toddlers, and there might be a chance where his kids won't even remember their dad.
yeah,
That's
Yeah, well, they
tragic,
probably won't. Yeah.
sad. And now somebody it became a single mother. That is in a worse way.
Mm.
yeah.
and I was saying like people need to out here need to be careful. People are celebrating and advocating his death because it could go both ways. It could go both ways. It might be somebody I like. It might be that they might do the same thing since you created the atmosphere of, oh, since you don't like this person needs to get rid of and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've seen some of the black content creators, and they're like, "Why are they blaming us? We didn't have anything to do with it," and blah 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 blah, which is true. But when you guys are making posts and celebrating, there are deranged people that are looking at that shit. You know what I mean? And then you become a target. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We really all do have to be
Yep.
very aware of the things that we say online because I mean we've known for a while it's not safe, but this is like reality. And this is a person that had millions of dollars, that had security and everything, and basically everybody is touchable. You know?
Right.
Yeah, nobody's untouchable. That's for
That's
sure.
the first time.
Yeah,
The first look. That's the first time I was surprised when I first heard. I was like, "This is Charlie Kirk. Why you don't have no bodyguard, no bulletproof vest on him or any shit like that? Because he is a target now. Like people do be making threats on him. He is a controversial person,
mm-hmm.
and it didn't matter. I mean, somebody stalked him and was waiting for him.
And
They
you
were
know
trying
who
to.
else is celebrating? Um, the
Ooh,
like the LGBT community.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like
Yeah.
they can't stand him.
Mm-hmm.
but all that stuff just is just a revelation of where their hearts stand and where their minds stand. I mean, like it's no surprise because that's a community that's full of mental disorders, many who are on psych drugs too, and many who were honestly raped when they were young. And so all that stuff is just a revelation.
Jose's like, eek.
Yeah, and what they're just saying and doing though is just all projection of the aforementioned issues that I just outlined at all. But even for them, I
That
still
was a lot
pray
of trigger
for them.
words.
Like, come on, I'm from Berkeley, California. I was friends with a lot of them too, both in Berkeley and in San Francisco, where there are even more of them. Believe you me, these people are on psych drugs.
And
Have
not only that, they're hyped up full of hormones, so of course they're a little cranky.
yes, that too, that too.
Well,
Y'all said it, not me. Because I'm feeling complicated.
Exactly.
Y'all
No,
said it, not me.
and exactly, Irby. And Irby, everything I say here is with love, no condemnation at all, because you have a lot of people who live that and look at them now. They are really striving for righteousness, though. But I was friends with plenty of them. Psych
Yes,
drugs, they were
well,
great. And let's see, what else? Promiscuous. And clearly the most saddest, most miserable people you will ever meet. So what they're saying and what
well,
they're doing and gloating over what happened, that's just projection. Just a heads up.
well. I actually belong to a very progressive union, so of course I am exposed to um that segment. Um, I just try. I mean, I mean, to be courteous and what have you. Of course, I do not share a lot of their views. Okay, I'm sorry, but God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Um, Also, the fact of the matter is, people are not born with with a particular sexual orientation. Sorry, I mean, if that was the case, then I mean, how do you explain Sodom and Gomorrah? I mean, how do you explain those verses in the Bible that actually does not speak well regarding the LGBTQ community?
Or just, and just for anybody who's like thinking that, I guess we're just people who are trying to be selective about somebody's sin or whatever, though that's not the case, because that even applies to just sex outside of marriage too. But yeah, if we're going to really focus on a particular community, though, yeah.
Well, let's keep it we keep it real. I mean, unfortunately, what some people would do, they'll focus on that type of sin, but neglect the other types of sin. Look, just to look at a woman with lust in your heart, that's a sin right there.
Adultery in the heart.
Yeah. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying, if a woman is, looks, I- wears her attire well. There's nothing wrong with saying that, stuff like you wear your outfit very well, or what have you. But when you start thinking about having adult thoughts regarding a member of the opposite sex that's not your spouse, that's a different story altogether.
Yep.
I don't know. I just believe that there are different levels to sins. In my opinion, I don't see how you can be judged with the same punishment for like a lie compared to like unaliving or harming children or anything like that. And also like in certain sins, like he used different words like abomination, so he
Yeah.
clearly does have certain things that trigger him.
Yeah, there is. So, and then also like Gigi though, like the Bible does say is that like when it comes to sexual sin, it's the only sin where you sin against your own body. So it does have something different to say, and then yeah, you pretty much do deal with the consequences differently depending on what your sin issue is.
Didn't
So
the
yeah,
Bible
Yeah.
also say something about like I don't know the exact words, but I'm just paraphrasing something about like people that are like pretending to be on God's side but really leading them astray? Isn't that some sort of a harsher punishment as well? I'm pretty sure some one of the
yes, that you're
they said
talking.
something about that.
Yeah, the wolves in sheep's clothing. So yeah, if you're like the self-proclaimed pastor or minister and you
Yeah.
lead a lot of people astray, then yes, your punishment will be more severe than those that you led astray.
So that just lets me know that there is varying levels and degrees, right?
There are. I mean, all
Mhm.
sin is sin that will separate you for sure, but
Mhm.
your consequences are going to be different from somebody else's still. But it still is going to be torturous and pretty bad.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Actually, lately I've been watching this a couple of YouTube Christian channels. So what they did, through AI, talked about um some people that died and they went to heaven uh, to face judgment, and
I love those type
they
of
have to.
videos.
But but there is one video that's really that I watched that is so troubling. But yeah, it shares so much information. It's regarding an 8-year-old girl that was a victim of um, exploitation. We're gonna say it, and um, and it was done by one of her uncles, and she only lived 2 years before. Uh, she left Earth to go to be with God. So she has some questions regarding God, and and if you were to look at the video, it's sad because because here is an 8-year-old girl trusting her uncle, who supposedly is a Christian and supposedly well respected in their place of worship, but yet the fact that okay, that this person actually committed 247 acts of abuse against 4 children.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, you have to really use your discernment and watch people in these type of positions very closely, because a person like a pastor, a lot of times predators go for those type of positions because they're getting the money, they're getting the power, and people trust them, just like teachers, just like, people that choose to work around children when they're really, you know, whatever they are. So just because somebody is a pastor doesn't automatically mean that they're a good person.
Or that they are
That's very
truly
true.
anointed. Also, though, because a lot of those quote unquote pastors, they anoint themselves as opposed to being
or
anointed
priest,
by God.
or priest.
Or what did you say, Orby?
Like the pastor that they said they were going to lock the doors till they got the money.
Oh,
I'm talking
Marvin,
about those,
Marvin Sapp.
I'm talking about the Catholic priests.
Marvin Sapp, yeah, telling them that, oh, ushers, lock those doors. Yes. And Gigi, on that related note, I actually wanted to read something to you from 2 Peter chapter 2 to verse 1 to 3, though, because I think that you are thinking of this verse. It'll be quick. It reads, "But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there should be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction." There you go.
That just summed up everything we were talking about. You got to watch them.
Yeah, so in other words, wolves in sheep's clothing. Oh yeah, they're gonna get, if they die like that, they'll get the worst. Worse than those that they led astray. Because
Yes,
you're not tormented for the same stuff. I mean, yeah, hell is hell. It's still going to be bad. You're going to hate it. It's going to be long suffering, but definitely like the false prophets or those pastors who anointed themselves. Yeah, it's going to be more severe for sure.
in fact, unless I'm mistaken, I believe Matthew chapter 18, verse 6 talks about, if anyone causes the little ones to believe in me to be led astray, it would be better if a large millstone was tied to their neck and then they would drown in the sea.
He's not playing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay.
Mhm.
No!
Listen, people are like surprised.
God,
We get surprised by the
God,
evil. Go ahead, Jose.
One at a time. What's up?
God does not, yeah, yeah, God does not play around with that, particularly when it comes to children.
hmm Which is why the occultists and the Satanists, that they target children, because it's to be, to do the most disgusting thing to, in front of God.
Oh, looks like we lost
Okay.
Herbie. Oops, but it was good
Well,
having you.
that's the consequences of using your Obama form to get on live. So
Herbie, bring your butt back up here.
yeah, but
Well,
go
I'm
ahead,
like,
please.
um,
He said,
I think
please.
I think that also what you were thinking, Gigi, was on point though, because also like your sin or whatever it is, though, each sin is going to produce different consequences. So, and then God's universal laws are already imprinted onto our hearts, if you already know that, and it talks about that in Romans 2:15. So there's a reason why, like I don't know how to say this for YouTube purposes, but basically people who went to jail for some very weird sexual stuff, you already know that, hey, they are very much at the bottom of the totem pole. Like everybody seems to recognize that sexual sin is like probably the worst that you can ever commit, though. even as the Bible says, it's the only one that involves you sinning against your own body. So with sexual sin, as we can see, it's a serious thing to where you can delete somebody, but you won't be as treated severely as somebody who committed the sexual offense.
I think the biggest thing that which I continue to struggle with and work on, is probably my mouth. Uh, Cursing, and also falling into the pitfalls of like demonic entities that want to come along and throw me off track and attack me and stuff like that. And then I fall into the pit of going back and forth with them or whatever. Because
Matching,
I believe the
matching
Bible
your
says,
energy. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I believe the Bible says something like you're better off like cutting out your tongue or something like that than speaking. I
Yeah,
forget the exact words.
basically, like the Bible was speaking in metaphors that yes, it said like if your mouth causes you to sin, then yeah, slice out your tongue, or like if your eyes cause you to sin, gouge out your eyes, or if your hands cause you to sin, then cut them off. Those are
Hmm.
all Jesus speaking metaphorically, but yeah, because as he even said himself, so out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Well, what I think it's encouraging for us to realize is when you think about the people of the Bible, they weren't that much different from us. I mean, they all dealt with their own frailties. I mean, let's first of all, Moses stuttered. Uh, the Apostle Paul was persecuting the believers before he had his conversion. Matthew was a tax collector. Okay. Uh, Rahab
Rahab was
was a three
304.
was a 304. So not exactly a who's who of great wonderful people
Mhm.
according to what the world consider great, but yet God used each one of them.
Yeah, because I mean that testimony is powerful, and the testimony is what encourages and inspires other people.
Mhm.
Yes. If you don't mind me asking, how's Dreamy doing?
She's doing good.
Yeah, I was
Please
wondering
do
how
me a
she's
favor.
doing. I hope she's doing good. But I'm glad she's doing good, according to you.
Yeah, she's doing good. She's just not online. She says she's not really on YouTube as much anymore, and people go through different ups and downs with that, and I understand it because it is really toxic, and also real life or whatever. But she is doing good, and whenever she comes outside, then she drops a video.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I
Oh,
mean, look,
oh, and we're going. Oh.
let's keep it real. I mean, unfortunately, some people have to deal with a lot of ish out here these YouTube streets, and it's usually from the same characters that need deliverance, that need to be put under a 72-hour involuntary observation period.
Didn't
Yeah, and then
you?
it just gets repetitive because like
I think that you think you lost signal there.
Jen, it's not like hurtful at this point because I mean, what have I not heard out here on YouTube? What have they not already said about me? So whatever. It just sounds like regurgitated talking points from somebody else.
Tell me about it.
Well, I mean, well, the remark someone said about me that I was a disappointment to my dead mom.
I remember. I remember that, or how she deserved better.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I remember somebody sharing that. But yeah, oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's all
Yeah.
silly when you just look at the grand scheme of things, and people are going through real shit in life.
Yeah, or that the man
talking
in the
crap
UK,
about us
yeah, or that the man in the UK
on
saying that I
YouTube.
never stopped being a white supremacist. Hmm.
People
Well,
can say whatever they want, and then people can say whatever they want and have opinions about who you are.
yeah,
Hmm. But as Jose said, okay, they can dish it out, but they can't take it.
so true, so true.
Uh,
And I remember one contact creator who will remain nameless. I just made a little mild criticism. Next thing you know, I'm going to see it was the subject in at least two lives.
mm.
Yeah.
That's why I called it the circus because they act like a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
Didn't you
I mean,
once
for
talk
the
about
most
how the
part, I feel
Indian?
like we're all kind of on our channels and we're all kind of doing our things and we're not really engaging too much. I did fall backwards and engage a little bit with someone, but but then when I listen to their story and I see, this person is struggling in life, they're a sex worker, they're everything that everybody calls me, a single baby mama, and all these, like, this person is miserable. And so they want to project that onto me. Um, Say that I'm valueless and I have no value and all that. It's just like it's the same thing with all of these characters. I feel like they project on you how they feel about themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
So
as
true.
soon as you just it's just as soon as you kind of get that, and it's hard though because we are human, and when people talk bad about you, you do want to defend yourself, but really, it really is projection.
Mhm.
I agree. I
That's even
agree.
what Ramon talked about too before, though, regarding
Hating somebody and
projection.
Yeah. Now, actually, about a week or so ago, I actually came across a video where I don't know why some women do this, and I gotta say some because I don't want the women to start lynching me for whatever. How there are some women are actually going out there engaging in unprotected intercourse with the purpose of getting an STD.
Weird. What?
Yes, there are. Okay, and again, I didn't say some women that are going out there engaging in unprotected intercourse for the express purpose of getting an STD and trying to give it to someone else.
Oh yeah, I do remember that topic that we had. Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. My service went out.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No, I was just sharing that I came across a video where someone was talking about there was some women that was actually going out there engaging in unprotected intercourse with the express purpose of getting an STD.
I heard that too, but it's not just women; it's people in general. I forget they have a name for it. Bug chaser or something like that. I forget what the name of it is. It's not
Back
just
in the day,
women;
they were
it's
called
men
bug
too.
chasers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they were called bug chasers. Yep. Where they would deliberately get off sexually by contracting an STD. Even better if it
Wow.
were HIV. Yeah.
Mm, some
Disgusting.
sick
Yeah.
people.
Hmm. Even a gay guy
Yeah.
back in Berkeley, like many years ago, he described himself as a quote unquote king of gonorrhea. Those were his
Wow.
own words at the time.
Uh, I'm. How can someone be proud of being coined himself the king of gonorrhea? I mean,
There's so many sick people in the world. That's the whole point.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I try to stay in my lane.
Exactly.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm over
look,
here on cruise control in the slow lane.
Same here.
I'm not rushing to the
I
finish
mean,
line. I'm just on cruise control.
In humility. Amen.
look, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself, and just keep it going.
Have you noticed, George, or that doing probably? Oh, I don't know if you are. It's actually a question. Are you doing better on TikTok? Because I both apps, but I feel like
You're also losing your signal again, by the
even though
way.
there's a lot of negative people, oh, y'all can hear me.
Yeah, you were losing your signal.
Can you hear me?
Well, now I can though. But you were saying
Yeah.
something about what YouTube?
I was asking, do you think that there's a bigger lane on TikTok for more positive content than there is on YouTube? It almost seems even more negative on YouTube, if that's even possible, than it is even on TikTok. What do you think?
I think it's a hit or miss. It really depends on your
Yeah.
niche, your own lane, but you
Yeah.
still have a lot of toxicity on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
it. Probably, honestly, I would say that probably the more vile comments I've received were actually on TikTok than on here.
Oh,
So
okay. That's
it
interesting.
varies by, yep, I think it varies by case
I
by
guess you're
case.
right too, because I think that they gang stalk on TikTok more. Because if you notice, they all make TikToks and they'll tag and they'll like it's they have like trains where they'll be like report this one or dox this one, and then they like the community isn't as segregated. I feel like on TikTok, I feel like it's wide open for people, but like on YouTube, we're kind of all like segregated in our own little areas, our own little sectors. But on maybe on TikTok, it's just like open season, like everybody's kind of involved. I don't know though.
I think it's more of a open season battle on TikTok than it is on here,
Okay,
in my opinion.
okay.
So I think it's all can be just purely anecdotal, but it just really depends on the person.
What about you, Jose? When you do your little like positive stuff, do you feel like you get more traction over here or on TikTok?
And you know what? It it varies. There are times when I get more attention on TikTok, and then the other times I get more here on YouTube. So it depends. Um, I know I did like one short here on YouTube that actually got like over 36,000 views,
Hmm.
and I got several subs off of that. So it's I think it's hit or miss, and also timing, and also the way that the content is created.
Yeah, I can see that because I before when I actually was trying to build my TikTok, I would post like a TikTok over there and then make a short on YouTube, and then sometimes the short on TikTok would get a bunch of views and then one on YouTube wouldn't. But then it also would be vice versa. Like it wouldn't move a lot on TikTok, but it would on YouTube. So I guess yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, even like today, like for instance, like my Charlie Kirk video on here, it got 12,000 views, which is something I honestly was not expecting though. But on my TikTok, the same video got 990 views.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So can we see a difference here? So it looks like it performed quite amazingly on here than it did on TikTok though, but still, I think
You
I'm
know, is it kind of weird though? Because it's like I want to do other things. There's other things that I like to do, like perfume reviews and different things like that. And I'm just like, maybe I'll do it on TikTok because it's like, I don't know, I'm more shy over here on YouTube, maybe because I have a lot of haters. So I don't know. Does that make sense? Or I feel kind of anonymous on TikTok to be kind of more free to do like different things than like over here, everybody kind of has a microscope on you and they're kind of judging everything you do. I don't know.
mhm, fair
Uh,
enough.
No,
I think
I have,
I mean,
I
I think you just have to be have to be in your comfort zone.
have
Um, Now lately there's been a lot of videos on, particularly on TikTok, about some of these women going off the deep end because their food stamps get got cut off, or getting reduced. I mean, there was this one woman that she actually had 9 kids by 9 different baby daddies, and she was pregnant with triplets. So, talking about how she got thousands of dollars in food stamp benefits, and then it would cut to $60, and it's like, well, I mean, if you're going ahead and bragging about how you know, you know, how you're being supported by the government and whatever. I mean, eventually, it's going to create some sort of a pushback.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle on that because it's kind of hard because it's like I think about all like aspects of it. So it's like people are like, well, yeah, women and men too, because they're single fathers on food stamps that, are taking advantage of the system or whatever, whatever, and just cut them off. But there is another side to that. And it's like, well, what about those 9 kids? Are they going to starve now because their mom's ignorant? You know?
Well, unfortunately, the ones that always suffer because of all this stupidity are the children. I mean, they
Exactly.
didn't actually be. I mean, they didn't actually be born. It's just that, this person decided to have a bunch of kids with a bunch of baby daddies.
The truth of the matter is that although we do have these types of problems in our country, the elite in the top of the food chain, they want to pit everybody to attack poor people, ignorant people. But in reality, the people that are hoarding the money are at the top. Okay.
Hmm.
All of our money's not going to food stamps. It's going to war. It's going to politicians' pockets. That's the reality. Corporations get tax cuts, welfare in a different form. So, I mean, but it's much easier to blame poor people.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But we all should be
it's true.
we should be all focusing on the people at the top that are hoarding all the resources, not the poor people at the bottom that are getting crumbs, in my opinion.
Yeah. Speak Speaking about crumbs, have you seen the video where a woman actually took a baseball from a kid after a Phillies player hit a home run?
Yes, I did see that in the comments. They were dragging him. They were like, "This is the most filthy, horrible human being on earth." They were going in on him.
Hmm.
I
I mean,
mean,
it was
it's
pretty
like,
shitty, but
well,
pretty dramatic.
I mean, look, let me tell you something. And then there was speculation that she was an administrator for a school, and then she got terminated because of the bad publicity. And then when the school announced that this person was never an employee, then the conspiracy was, oh, that they're hiding it.
Hmm.
That's the word I was looking for, Irby. Corporate welfare. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Hmm.
They continue to
Yeah.
get tax cuts and bailouts and, but let's go, let's go
Yep.
worry about Tammy in the trailer park or Shanika in
I
the
mean,
projects getting food stamps, rather than the,
it's
the
just
corporations that are skimming billions.
yes.
Hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
all a distraction to keep us all fighting each other. As long as we're fighting each other, then we're not watching them.
Yep. Yep. That is so true.
And so, what do you guys think about how everybody's saying that? What since we were talking about Charlie Kirk, that they're all hyping up this civil, quote unquote, civil war. Have you guys heard these talking points?
I have, though. I mean, like, I don't think it's going to get to that point, but it for sure is going to show just how like the body of Christ is horribly divided. I am going to say that though, and how it very much is going to cause a lot of people to, get more into their flesh than anything else. So, but like a civil war, I think that is just hyperbole.
My concern is this, is that these, okay, and I'm going to put it, you air quotes, Christians, okay, who are making, you know, you know, controversial content, topic, content, comments. What's going to happen is people are going to think that all Christians are the same way, and obviously that's not the case. It's just that okay, you have those who are genuine, who try to live as the Bible prescribes, to the best of the ability, imperfectly, but at least they're trying. Okay, and then you have those who have the spirit of a Pharisee that uh, come across as extremely judgmental, that they preach too much the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law. And they could be very harsh on people in general.
It just lets me know, honestly, that Jesus really is the way, because even with regular people, you see that when you see all the bad people gang up on the good people, it's just kind of how it is. Why are Christians held to such a high standard compared to, there's like so many other religions, but yet it's always the Christians, the Christians, I will say now they're talking about the little hats because of everything going on over there. But before that, they weren't even mentioning the little hats. It was just the Christians, the Christians, the Christians, all this vitriol for the Christians, right?
Because you know
Yeah.
what it is? Because, okay, this is what I think. Because those who strive to live their life according to the gospel, that whole system is contrary to how the world do things. So that's the reason why whenever any Christian or so-called Christian screws up, and it gets magnified 85 gazillion million times. But the fact of the matter is, you have bad people uh, who follow different belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, on that note, though, like that, I think I never mentioned this to you two, but so when my sister was evangelizing, like at a park, at Sunset Park in Las Vegas, she told me though that there were a lot of people who were growling at her too, like giving her like a demonic growl or snarl though when she was
Hmm.
spreading the redemptive love of Jesus.
They used to do that to Charlie, didn't they? I saw them doing it to Charlie on some
Yeah.
shorts.
So
Yeah,
like as far as
it
like that
triggers
goes,
their demons.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because my sister, she was the one who told me that though. Like they saying, she was saying, telling me, I'm like, so like when me and a friend were doing it on the Vegas Strip, there was this one homeless woman dealing with like mental health issues, which by the way, in a lot of cases are demons. She growled at me too. And then my sister said that, oh, when I was doing it at the park, I got the same thing. So I think that ties very much into what you just said, Gigi, in regard to how you just made the true claim in regard to him being the only way. Because if
Mhm.
something's the only way, then you're probably going to end up growling at it, especially if it exposes your demons and the light on your demons.
Yeah. And I would say, especially in this
What?
country, because uh, Christianity has always kind of been the main religion of this country. So even people that don't practice or follow it or even believe in it, they still, for the most part, most of us were raised around that ideology. So there is probably that little bit of guilt in the back of people's minds. Basically, the seed's already been planted, is my point. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they feel that way towards, because a lot of them were raised you know raised that way, and if not, like I said, a follower, but still, like, the seed was planted, is my point. So when they
Yep.
know that they're doing the
Well,
complete
in all
opposite.
fairness, okay. Well, in all fairness, you have people who, intellectually speaking, may know about Jesus. They may know some Bible verses, but it doesn't mean that they actually have a true knowledge about him. And then those that do, I mean, that actually have a genuine conversion experience and are trying to be faithful to the gospel. Okay, so we have to bear that in mind.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all human beings ultimately, so
Mm-hmm.
some are just further along on their journey than others.
That too.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
so, like,
some people
if
just
you guys go out and you're evangelizing or whatever, and even though you feel like you walked away from a situation and you didn't accomplish anything, but you really don't know if you did or not, because you still might have planted a seed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. That's just where, like, what you have to do. Not only do you have to be called to do whatever it is, so, but you also have to be like 100% Holy Spirit led, though, because if you lean on your own, like, conventional wisdom and own understanding, it's probably not going to go very well.
We need to start our own Christian sector. Say, forget all these weirdos over here. Go make our we need to go make our own Christian sector, y'all.
Sounds good.
but I mean
After I'm
but you know
monetized.
what but but you know the fact of the matter is you do have uh and I use the term loosely some Christian pastors that really
Irby, stop laughing.
pre- that really preach some questionable doctrines, particularly the prosperity gospel,
Mm-hmm.
where basically if you have enough, supposedly enough faith, or if you donate enough money, well, God's going to bless you with riches. That was never the message of the gospel. I mean, the message of the gospel is that we're all sinful and that we need salvation and that Jesus is the way, truth, and the life. Jesus never promised us that we're going to have a Lexus and a Mercedes Benz and 5,000 mentions, whatever. He mentioned,
True.
he promised that if we remain faithful to him to the end, we will spend eternity with him.
Yeah, I think he pretty much said that actually it was easier for, like, an elephant to go through the eye of the needle than a rich man. I mean, but I also do believe that he does bless you when you do right too. But people often forget that when you go and you really change your life around, that is sometimes the hardest time of your life, because that's when the devil will attack you the most.
Yeah, it's like
Well, I
when
mean,
you
the
become
problem is,
surrendered. Yeah.
yeah. See, the problem is people they know about the old you, so that when you have an actual, the honest, good, born again experience, people tend to question it because they still associate you with the old you, like the old Gigi, the old Giorgio, the old say. Okay, they don't understand that that person died and that person has been transformed by the power of God.
True though, and then they don't really. I mean, and but if the idea of being transformed doesn't fit how they think of what transformation should be in their fleshly eyes, then they are going to think that the person never changed, such as British man saying that I have always been a white supremacist and that I still am one, all because I dedicated my thoughts and prayers to the Kirk family. So,
Was that coming? that kind of ties into what I said as far as like people holding Christians to such a high standard, and that we're all on different paths and different places in our journey. And so if a person looks at me and they're like, well, I don't see that in her. Well, yeah, maybe you don't, but you don't know where I came from. You know what I mean? And I'm still on my journey. So at least I like have a direction that I'm moving towards, and that doesn't make me better than anybody else, or it doesn't make me lesser than anybody else. It just means that I'm having a human experience. And just because
Same.
a person is Christian
I
doesn't mean
mean,
that they
you know
don't
what people.
backslide, fall off, commit sin. Like Christian, just because you're Christian doesn't mean you just stop sinning. You understand? You try to not, but it's almost impossible because even your mind can sin.
Yeah. Even I know a
Well,
verse
I mean, what?
in First John though. It says First John chapter 1 to verse 8. It does say that if you say you're without sin, then you deceive yourself, and the truth is not in you. Though, so if you're over here saying that you're sinless now, then
Yeah.
you're already sinning right there in that moment by pushing out a delusion. You still are though, but yes, that's just where the difference is that you die to it though, you crucify it though, and you exercise the fruit of the spirit. In other words, self-control. And people will be able to see that in you, and that's when you actually do become more righteous and different from somebody who just keeps caving into their own sins and just keeps making excuses for it though. And like for a man who, let's just say, like, he is now striving for sexual purity. He may still feel temptations here and there though, but what does he do? He dies to it. He dies to himself, and he's righteous about it though, as opposed to the other man who just caves into his lust and starts committing adultery in the heart. There's a huge difference there. Two sinners, but we can see a huge difference.
Yeah, but I still
True.
feel like people are still, yeah, but either way, people really can't judge other people's journeys. You don't know where that person came from. You don't know where they're going. You don't know what relationship they have with God. Also, just because humans don't wipe your slate clean, God still does when you ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, Jesus justifies the unrighteous.
hmm Just like that's like a person that has a drug
Yeah.
habit. Do you know that most people that have drug habits, they end up relapsing, but they still can continue on and they can still recover.
Yes.
So I feel like
See, the
not
thing
only
is,
society puts that pressure on Christians, I feel like other Christians put that pressure on other Christians as well. And that's why a lot of people have a negative outlook on Christianity. And so I really try to like not do that on people because like Jose said earlier, Jesus was with like thieves and prostitutes and like this was his like, you understand what I'm saying? Like he wasn't hanging around with, the holiest of the holy, they were real people.
Yeah, he met people right where they are, though, the same way that I meet people right where they are, though. And
hmm
he very much shares that redemptive love with a lot of those people, though. But then at the same time, he was at the same time trying to encourage them to embark upon a transformative journey that can lead them to the best path of righteousness so that they too can have eternal life. So,
So
like,
that's
whether
where it goes wrong with some people that call themselves Christians is that instead of correcting people from a place of love, they correct them from a place of judgment.
judgment and then yes and condemnation though because it's
hmm
not really our job to
Yeah,
condemn anybody. It's only our job to just share the loving gospel, share the message. It's not our job to tell you how to live your life, because yeah, you get those self-righteous Christians who go out and about and condemn people for that though.
yeah,
People feel that energy that you put out there, which is honestly very foul. I never do that, especially
yeah.
for like somebody I met though, like this man. I'm not telling you who his name is though, but he made it clear to me though that he was getting ready to come down off of his drug. But he knows that I love him. He knows that I was sharing just that redemptive message with him, and it actually did edify him though. But then also at the same time, I hope that it also planted a seed so that he can start taking the steps to getting off of whatever he is addicted to. I know what it is. I'm just not going to say it. But me doing what I did is to set the message that you do have to start changing your life. It's going to take some time, but you will have to start taking those baby steps into changing your life and getting out of your comfort zone. And that's
Yeah.
just, people really start to get a little bit triggered by that, though.
Some people, no,
You need
because
to
some people wake up and they change immediately, right? Something happens profound in their life and they just have an immediate change. But some people go through a process. I'm just saying that I'm realistic about that process.
yes.
Just like a person that smokes or something, they might go from, 10 blunts or 10 cigarettes to 2 to 1 to finally quit. Like, not everybody goes cold turkey on everything, is my point. You know what I mean? So you just never know, and it's just better to encourage people. And I'm not saying that you or anybody else does. I'm just bringing that up because that's why people have a lot of like negative perceptions of Christian, is that they always feel judged.
Yes, and that's just what's very pitiful, though, because we can't condemn others. It's not your job. It's not your job to condemn. It is your job to only tell. Sorry, excuse me. It's your job to tell people only, just to tell them with love and the gentleness and the meekness. But I have no place in condemning you for whatever is going on, though. I can say that it will for sure separate you, but those are not my words. Those are his. So like, even if it's like a man, like, who honestly just enjoys like lusting after other women though and everything. Well, the only thing that I will just tell him is that, well, you're not really valuing her, man, because if you really truly valued her like a real man would, though, you would not really get in bed with that woman who is not your wife, and you wouldn't defile her body or your body like that. You would strive hard and hunger for her heart and her soul, and then make sure that ring is on the finger before you two cross that line. That's what the real men do. That's not coming from me. That's coming from the creator,
Yeah.
the Most High. And I'm not even condemning the brother at all for that, though. I'm just being the messenger here.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a point in time, by the way, where you can make righteous judgments, though, by the way, because it all ties into righteously judging somebody else's fruits, such as the fruits of like those legalistic or Pharisee Christians that you brought up, Gigi, though, in regard to them, like just going out there and condemning folks or knocking them over their heads over whatever sin issue is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you exercise some righteous judgment right there. But there
Well,
is
yeah,
a
because those type of people are the kind of people that run people off from church, which is really not doing, I don't think, the Lord's work. You know what I mean?
exactly though. Like, let me tell you though, like a girl, I'm not saying her name, but I'm gonna have to nickname these girls still. I'm gonna nickname her Ayla. Okay, her Ayla. So Ayla told me that she doesn't even want to go to church anymore because of all the church hurt that she experienced. Because Ayla, does sell herself. She told me that, yeah, she's done some time. Yes, she's not proud of her mistakes. And she told me, though, that yes, the people at the church that she was going to were not reflecting the character of Christ. They made her feel condemned, though, and they honestly bulldozed her self-esteem to where she doesn't even feel that she's even worthy of it anymore.
Yeah, that was pretty much the type of situations that I was like alluding to. You know what I'm saying? That
Mm-hmm.
um, when you go to a place that's really full of the Holy Spirit, it's a whole different experience. You're greeted with love and acceptance, whatever
Yeah.
state you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that church that she was going to, though, yes, they were full of like people who were like all about that condemning spirit, though. The religious spirit, though, which is a demonic spirit, though. So she came across a lot of religious spirited people who just were not really illustrating the heart of God that well at all. And that church hurt ultimately led her into thinking that, oh, well, I guess it's not meant to be, so I'm just going to do my own thing and sell myself. So there it is. But that's just where we got to hit. We have to be that vessel of hope and redemption and actually share the true Holy Spirit filled gospel so that no one has to think that they are irredeemable because of what they did.
So
Well,
true.
Jose, I'm going to
Now,
go to bed. I'm going to bed. It's been a long day. I need to try to get some more
yeah,
rest. It's been a
I'm sorry. Go
long
ahead.
week.
All right. Well, it's been
Okay,
nice
well, it's
talking.
always a
Well, it's
yeah,
been
it's
awesome
always a
talking
pleasure to
to you.
speak with you.
Okay.
Yes, both of you guys as well. Jose, hashtag your live streams so they can push out.
Well,
And I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's been
share this live stream as well.
Oh, I do.
nice.
Oh,
It's been great
thank you.
talking, Gigi. I think this was a very uh, intellectually stimulating conversation. It's very
Yes, it's always a
edifying
pleasure
too.
talking to you, gentlemen, about real things and not petty, stupid things. And I had a great time.
Me too. And then I hope that we get to do it again.
While while your captain truly appreciates your patronage on the Uncommon Sense Airlines. And I hope that our crew, um, fulfill your expectations as far as quality airline service. We strive to be the very best.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. All right, you guys. Good night.
You have
But
a blessed night, Gigi.
good night.
You too. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.
Take
So
care.
I think I'm going to stop the rep. I think I'm going to stop to wrap this up because it's almost 12:30, and of course us old senile people, we need our beauty sleep. So with that being said, what are your final thoughts?
Keep the armor of God going. Don't let people condemn you, and stay prayed up and edified. That's all I can pretty much say. And stay thick skinned and strong spirited too, because you're going to have a lot of bozos, including those who call themselves Christians, who are probably going to rip at you the most.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, George. Let me just give you my final thoughts. Uh, Look, I think when it comes to Christianity, just bear in mind we're not perfect. We're for, and I think that's the best way to describe what a Christian is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just that we're living at a time where good is considered bad and bad is considered good. So we need to be, the true light for those who are in darkness. So, and of course, the playback end, do your own thing. You're more than welcome to enter your comments. Just try to keep it respectable, okay? And instead of this time complaining that you don't have enough time to do what you want to do, concentrate on trying to be a better version of yourself.
Agreed.
You'll be you. I mean, you'll be much happier that way. Okay.
Spot
And
on.
Irby, yeah, and Irby, quit using your Obama phone to do lives. But all joking aside, I will be live on Sunday, so I'm on 10:30, which is 7:30 your time, Georgia. And of course, we're gonna close the same way that we always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. And as the captain of this and head of this flight crew, uh, We hope to see you again at another flight with Uncommon Sense Airlines. So take
Take
care,
care.
stay blessed, and peace.
Peace out.